phone for me.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
You're
I'm
under
gonna take
arrest.
this. I'm gonna take this.
That doesn't change anything. You still are going to be arrested.
For what?
Okay.
You don't have any proof on me.
No, ma'am, I do.
GloRilla's story ain't just about rap. It's about surviving, pushing through, and turning raw hustle into real fame. Born Gloria Hallelujah Woods, she grew up in South Memphis, Tennessee, with 9 siblings in a tight, no-nonsense household. Money was always short, but ambition was never missing. She started out singing gospel in her church choir, dreaming about making it big in music. But back then, she imagined it'd be with a mic in church, not in front of packed-out rap shows. By her teens, she'd shifted gears. Church harmonies turned into rap verses, and she began recording tracks in makeshift studios around the neighborhood. Her early music was gritty, unpolished, and pure Memphis, the type of sound you feel before you even break down the lyrics. She wasn't just rapping about the streets. She was living the same grind her audience knew all too well. The big break came in 2022 with FNF Let's Go, a track produced by Hit Kid that turned into a summer anthem. It wasn't just a song, it was a movement. TikTok ate it up, clubs ran it back to back, and suddenly GloRilla was no longer just a local name. But behind the scenes, that success came with drama. Hit Kid and Glo got tangled in a public back and forth over the rights to FNF, with both sides airing their frustrations online. For a new artist, it was a crash course in how fast business can get messy when money's on the table. Still, she kept her momentum. Yo Gotti saw the wave and signed her to CMG, putting her in the same camp as some of the hottest names in the South. That move set her up for even bigger plays, collaborations, major stages, and a platform to turn her buzz into a career. She followed up with hits like Tomorrow 2, featuring Cardi B, proving she could hang with the heavyweights and still keep her Memphis flavor. Her debut album, Glorious, solidified her as more than a one-hit wonder. It was raw, confident, and dripping with the energy of a rapper who wasn't just making music. She was making statements, and she wasn't afraid to speak her mind, whether it was about industry politics, relationships, or life in Memphis. That boldness made her a favorite with fans, but it also brought critics. Some called her too vulgar, others tried to box her in as just another viral rapper. She didn't care, she doubled down. But just when it looked like she was fully locked into her winning streak, trouble started creeping in. First came the April 2024 DUI arrest in Gwinnett County, Georgia. Police body cam footage showed officers pulling her over and treating her with a level of suspicion that sparked debates online about racial profiling. She insisted she wasn't drunk, but the arrest stuck. A reminder that even as a star, she wasn't immune to the system's grip. And that was just the start. By mid-2025, GloRilla had the music industry watching her every move. But what happened next would prove that being successful doesn't mean you're safe. It would take her from performing on some of the biggest stages to fighting felony charges that could change her entire future.
Mama always say she marked me, but I ain't never feel no special than none of the other kids. We all was treated the same. It's just growing up, my mama had me near her. Like, I was like, right.
July 22nd, 2025, what should have been just another summer day for GloRilla turned into a headline-grabbing nightmare. She was in Georgia when police got a call about a burglary in progress at her home. From the jump, you'd think she'd be the victim here. Somebody's breaking into her space, invading her privacy, and possibly trying to take off with her stuff. But when the smoke cleared, the only one leaving in handcuffs was Glo herself. According to the police report, officers showed up to secure the property and take statements. But instead of focusing solely on the suspects, they started zeroing in on GloRilla. While moving through the house, they claimed to smell marijuana and eventually found enough on the property to slap her with felony possession charges. Just like that, the focus shifted. She went from reporting a crime to being treated like the criminal. The arrest didn't sit right with a lot of people, especially her fans. Social media lit up with outrage, with folks pointing out that marijuana laws have been loosening across the country. Yet here's a young black woman facing serious time for it. Even crazier, the alleged burglars? Nowhere near as much media attention as Glo's mugshot. Felony possession in Georgia is no joke. Depending on the amount, it can carry years in prison, heavy fines, and probation. For Glo, it also meant possible damage to her brand, canceled bookings, and slowed momentum in a career that had just started hitting peak speed. And the fact that she was arrested in her own home during a crime against her made the whole thing feel like a setup in the eyes of her supporters. Glo didn't take the hit quietly. She jumped on social media to tell her side, saying the way the situation was handled was crazy and foul. She reminded her followers that she was the victim of a break-in and still ended up cuffed. For her, this wasn't just about weed. It was about the bigger picture of how quickly the system can flip on you, especially if you're young, rich, and black. Her team moved quickly to try and control the fallout. Statements went out to the press, pushing the narrative that she was being unfairly targeted and that the charges would be fought in court. Lawyers started digging into the details. Was the search legal? Did the police have the right to comb through her stuff in the first place? And most importantly, was the marijuana even hers? Still, the damage was done. The mugshot was everywhere. The blogs ran with GloRilla arrested headlines without the context. For the casual reader, it was just another rapper in trouble with the law. Another name to add to the long list of hip-hop artists caught up in criminal cases. And that's the problem. Once the story's out there, it doesn't matter how it ends. The first impression sticks. To make things even messier, this arrest came with her April 2024 DUI still fresh in people's minds. For critics, it was proof she was trouble. For fans, it was proof the system was out to get her. Either way, Glo was back in the hot seat, and this time the stakes were way higher.
But like, where did this come from? I never heard somebody say that until you said it.
Seriously?
You didn't make that up?
I actually didn't make that up.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know where I saw this at, but they was like, I saw a post, they said, crackheads be giving out the best advice. One of them just walked up to me and said, at the end of the day, to take out of
Most artists would have gone ghost after getting hit with felony charges, but GloRilla, she doubled down on staying visible. Even with court dates on the calendar and headlines dragging her name, she was still out here booking shows, hitting award stages, and reminding everyone why she blew up in the first place. Right after the arrest, she kept her festival dates locked in. The optics mattered. Seeing her on stage, smiling, and delivering hit after hit told fans she wasn't broken by the situation. And it wasn't just small club gigs. We're talking WNBA All-Star Weekend performances, summer festival lineups, and high-profile guest spots. Every appearance was a way to shift the focus from her mugshot to her music. She also made sure her fashion and visuals stayed on point. Whether she was in a designer fit on stage or dropping slick photo shoots between shows, Glo was keeping her image consistent, bold, confident, and unapologetically Memphis. In the social media age, image is survival, and she understood that staying in people's faces with positive content could drown out at least some of the negative press. Musically, she didn't let up. She teased new singles on Instagram Live, dropped snippets that instantly went viral on TikTok, and kept her collaborations rolling. Cardi B reposted her more than once, showing public support. Yo Gotti stood by her, making it clear CMG wasn't about to cut ties. That kind of loyalty is rare in the industry. A lot of labels would have gone silent or distanced themselves until the legal dust settled. But for Glo, staying in the spotlight wasn't just about ego, it was strategy. The more she reminded people of her talent and work ethic, the harder it would be for the public to lock her into just the rapper with a felony case narrative. She wasn't going to let one arrest erase years of grind. Of course, not everyone was clapping for her. The critics came hard, saying she was acting like nothing happened and partying through serious charges. They pointed to her DUI from 2024 and painted a picture of a reckless artist spiraling. But fans pushed back, arguing that she was doing exactly what she should, not letting the system break her spirit or derail her career. Her response to the noise? She leaned into her personality even more. On stage, she was hyping crowds with that same raw energy from her early Memphis shows. In interviews, she laughed off the trolls and shifted focus back to her craft. On social media, she mixed glamorous shots with clips of her in the studio, letting people know the music was still coming. What made it hit harder was that Glo wasn't hiding from her past. She knew her life story had always been about turning setbacks into fuel. From South Memphis to the top of the charts, every win she's had came after a fight. And this was just another round. The real question wasn't whether she'd keep making music. It was whether the legal system was going to let her keep that momentum going, or whether the Georgia felony case was going to slam the brakes on her entire run. Right now, GloRilla's career is balanced between two extremes: the high of sold-out shows and hit records, and the low of staring down felony charges in a state that doesn't play when it comes to marijuana laws. In Georgia, a felony possession conviction can carry years in prison. Even if she beats the case, the process itself, the court dates, the legal fees, the constant press coverage, is enough to slow momentum and drain energy. For Glo, the fight isn't just about proving her innocence. It's about protecting her brand, her money, and her future. In the rap game, public perception is currency. One wrong headline can cost you sponsorships, festival slots, and collaborations. And while her core fans ride for her, the bigger corporate world, the brands with million-dollar endorsement deals, tends to keep their distance from controversy until it's over. Her legal team has been tight-lipped about their exact strategy, but sources close to her say they're going after the search itself. If they can prove the police overstepped by going through her space without proper cause, the marijuana charge could get tossed. They're also reportedly looking into whether the weed even belonged to her, given that it's a home she shares with friends and family who come in and out. But beyond the courtroom, GloRilla's case is touching a bigger nerve. It's a reminder that, for young Black artists, success doesn't shield you from being targeted. Plenty of her fans see her arrest as a clear example of the system trying to humble someone who's winning, especially when you compare her charges to how similar situations get handled for others. It's also making people look at the way police handle victims. She called them for help after a burglary, yet ended up leaving in cuffs while the people who actually broke in weren't front-page news. That kind of role reversal doesn't just hurt the person involved. It sends a message to the whole community about who gets treated as a suspect first. The sad truth? Even if Glo wins in court, this story will follow her. Just like her DUI arrest from 2024 still gets brought up, this marijuana case will always be a part of her public record. And in hip-hop, the internet doesn't forget. It'll get recycled every time she makes a big move. Still, if there's one thing her career shows, it's that she knows how to turn setbacks into fuel. From growing up in South Memphis with almost nothing, to breaking out with FNF, to standing on major stages next to Cardi B, she's proven she can rise through pressure. This might be the toughest fight yet, but it's also another chance for her to flip the script. If she comes out of this clean, she could use it as a rallying point, not just for her own brand, but as a voice for other artists dealing with legal targeting. If she doesn't, and the charges stick, the industry will be watching to see whether she can rebuild the same way she climbed up in the first place. Either way, the story's far from over. For now, GloRilla's still performing, still recording, and still holding her head high. But the next chapter will be written in a courtroom.